fans, welcome back everyone, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that brutal OC, hope you enjoyed that break because we have returned with a pretty insane matchup. Oh boy, we'll see what happens, we'll see what we have in store for us here as we load into a ZvP and spawning in the bottom right hand corner. In the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our blue Zerg player from the land of Germany representing Shopify Rebellion. The blue Zerg, it is Lambo. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Protoss from the land of the UK representing the Platinum Heroes. Usually a Zerg player, but here he is off racing as Protoss. It is Eva. I'm shaking my head. Este Eva. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go. But we have a ZvP upon us. Again, Eva, typically a Zerg player, but he has been off racing quite a lot. He has been flexing and practicing his Protoss, and he is feeling confident in his Protoss against Lambo. Bold choice here is what I will say. But I do know that Eva, like a lot of Zerg players, doesn't enjoy ZvZ. That's the same reason why Raynor off races and plays Protoss against Zerg. Because ZvZ is a little bit too volatile and it's too much of a clown fiesta at times, and some players just prefer to play a much more straight up series instead. A straight up matchup. In general, that's why a lot of players don't like mirror matchups. Like mirror matchups, they especially like ZvZ and PvP can be very chaotic. They want some more structure in their best of, in their matchup. And here we go. We do see our pro being annoying, forcing the unnatural natural out of Lambo. Eba just being a nuisance. Behind this, going for a gate expand into the cyber core and getting ready for his tech of choice. The question becomes, what are we going for? Now, usually when a Protoss player off races, as it is going to be a Stargate opener, when a Protoss player off races, when a player off races, usually they play a certain style that abuses that because they know how annoying and how frustrating it can be to play against. We've seen Raynor and players like Eva as well embrace this more defensive style, getting in towards the late game, getting in towards Sky Toss, kind of like turtling up and getting into a death ball of a Protoss army. That's typically what they do best, and that's where we should be headed. I would be surprised if Eva went for something like an Oracle opener into a third into Glaive Adepts, or like a Void Ray opener into Glaive Adepts. That would shock me, but we'll see what our first unit of choice is going to be. There it is, it's going to be the Oracle. Oracle opener out of Eva. Double Adept gets across the map, going to be threading a Shade. And can we get into the mineral line? Can we get some economic damage done? Again, 2 Adepts do one-shot drones. We do slip in and we get one. We're going to get one. We're going to get 2 drones here, but is this worth it? We're going to get a 3rd drone. Barely, we will not. 2 drones for 2 Adepts. Not worth it here for Eva. And just like that, Lambo goes across the map. Now there are less Adepts. There aren't any Adepts to defend the 3rd base. Lings, their goal here to deny the 3rd. Probe going to be hidden. Can Eva keep this worker alive? Lings, they do rock up. They do miss the probe. Good movement here out of Eva. And Lambo has map control. Behind this, the Oracle gets in. Nothing to kill here at the 3rd base, or at the natural. 3rd getting up and running. We have 2 queens in position. Likewise, we have 2 queens in the main. Oracle tries to go in, but damage is denied. Good movement here from Lambo. 3rd base is on the way. Would you have a 3rd Oracle to defend? Sorry, 2nd Oracle to defend. Lings, they do manage to catch the probe. Swift moves there out of Lambo. Does take the probe down. And overall, I would give the edge to Lambo here. He delayed the 3rd, he killed the Adepts, killed the worker, minimized losses. The Oracles haven't done any damage. Now, the saving grace, the silver lining for Eva is that his Oracles are still alive. He hasn't sustained any hull damage. Even though he hasn't killed any drones yet, he can. Ling's going to be threatening that 3rd. 3rd Oracle has arrived to defend. Adepts won't be surrounded, as we do manage to shade away. And Eba does slip in towards that main. Towards that third. Gets one, gets two. Gets two drones. Oh, bit of miscontrol there from Eba. Does overextend. A little bit too greedy from our Protoss player. And he will sustain a lot of hull damage. Does keep the Oracle alive. As Lings, once again, they threaten those transferring workers. They get one, they get two. We trade 2 for 2. Good pickoffs there by Lambo. Back at home, he's droning up, saturating his bases, working towards a lair. Roach Warren has been thrown down as well here at the third. So he has a safety Roach Warren, and for now, just going to be droning up and saturating his bases. Again, Lambo, he's in a good position. He's able to drone up. Eba behind this, going into +1 and Blink. Standard follow-up here from our Protoss. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Eba goes with after this Robo, goes for a Bay, a second Robo, and into Colossus production. That would make sense to me. Again, a very tech-heavy defensive turtley style, going up to 4 Colossi before moving out. I'm curious if Eba will embrace that, or if he goes into something different like Immortal production. Things they get another probe. They get on top of the pylon as well. We will pick it up. Again, good damage being done. Lambo in position to scout. That would be 4th. 20 more Lings on the way as well. There's no Baneling Nest, just Lings to harass. Lings for map control. And Lambo hasn't wasted any resources on Roaches. Just focusing on upgrades. Being as active as possible. There it is, Baneling Nest now on the way. There's the Bay that we spoke about. This should lead into a second Robo. This should lead into double Robo Colossus production. There it is, second Robo is on the way. This makes sense when it comes to the playstyle of Eba. It's very defensive, very turtley playstyle here. Basically, Eba is going to be building up on 4 bases until he reaches critical mass of Colossus, and then we push out. Once we reach that point as well, Eba can throw down a Stargate and a Fleet Beacon and transition to Sky Toss as he pushes, or like once we reach that point. Once we get to 4 base saturation. Lambo, though, he gets us around. Does deny the 4th. Ooh, that is a brutal pickup. Eba out of position, and this is brutal. He needs the 4th. The longer this goes on, with Eba being contained to 3 bases, the better it is for the Zerg. As Lambo, he's happily droning up to 80. Talking about what Eba is up to, talking about this Colossus production, we can talk about what Lambo is up to. Looks like he has recognized what's going on. Upon seeing the 4th, he's taking up into Hive. Infestation Pit, Hive Tech, into Vipers, into Lurker Play or Ultras. Everything is going to be available here. And Eba is stuck at home. Eba, he's stuck being defensive. He's only harassing with Oracles really more than anything. And Lambo is pushing up in towards the Natural. Is going to be forced back. But Lings, they bust into the main. Probes are going down. Ooh, 9 workers do fall, and we're not done. Yeah, nowhere near. 10 probes fully in the main base at the same time. Reinforces they head towards the 4th. And Eba, he's being pulled apart. He cannot keep up. Not with this army. It's going to be another cancel on the 4th base. The damage has been done, and Lambo, he's not content. Trades with the army will back up with the arrival of the Colossus. But Eba, he cannot even sustain that second Robo. He doesn't have the money for it. Doesn't have the resources for double Robo production because he doesn't have the 4th. Without the 4th, he just cannot sustain himself. And Lambo, he's just snowballing out of control. We'll shut down these rocks. Joining up to 84. Hive is in production. Vipers are going to be up next. And Lambo may not even need Vipers. May not even need it. Could even just come in from behind and just collapse on this army. Big revelation. Eba does see all, but Lambo doesn't care. The Balings, they crash in from behind. They collapse here on the Stalkers, on the Colossus. Big connections here by Lambo. Lings, they get into the middle line. We get 19 probe kills at the 3rd. And GG gets called. Lambo, with a solid game, takes game number 1. Ooh, GG. GG, well played. Again, a solid game there out of Lambo. Is able to bring Eba down. Again, the playstyle from Eba made sense, but the execution, he was struggling a little bit there. Again, bleeding out a lot of adepts. it all snowballed out of control. His third base was late, his fourth base was late, or his fourth base never got up and running. Eba was just struggling to just keep up with Lambo to protect his bases. Again, this defensive turtley style, it's not easy. Not easy to pull off. Especially not against a player like Lambo. Players like Skillus, Showtime, Creator, they make it look easy. But again, you need to be able to maintain map vision more than anything. You need to be able to keep an eye on those lings and make sure you're in position for those counterattacks and those run-bys to make sure that your fourth base is able to be established. As something that Eba just could not pull off. And now we're getting into game 2. Can we bounce back? Can we fight back on Alcyone? Here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our German Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is Lambo. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the Red Protoss. The Red Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes from the land of the UK. Typically Zerg, but off-racing as Protoss. It is Eba. Here we go. Eba versus Lambo. Game 2. Now the question becomes, does Eba go for the same play style 2 games in a row? I mean, this map is more conducive to it. This map is larger, longer rush distance by ground, much more defendable third and fourth base. If Eba wanted to play double Robo Colossus, this would be a good map for it. In saying that, Lambo can likewise take advantage of the map and try to take advantage of the gold. There's a gold base that can be taken if Lambo gains map control. There's nothing stopping him from taking the gold. With that, he can max out faster, he can hit Hive Tech faster, and punish the Protoss. Again, you still need to be active, you still need to be in the face of the Zerg. So we'll see how Eba approaches this. Now, we have other options, of course. It doesn't have to be that double Robo Colossus style again. We could be seeing double Stargate play into a Carrier Rush, for example. We could be seeing Glaive Adepts. Could be seeing a 3-base all-in with Blink Stalkers, which I'm not too fond of on this map, but it's on the table. There is a lot available here, and we are starting off with a 2-gate opener. Okay. Bold move. So it's going to be a 2-gate opener out of Eba. What this means is that we have a very fast double Adept and a quadruple Adept timing. Basically, the first, second, third, and fourth Adepts are really fast, and Lambo does confirm. With the Overlord Scout, he does spot the second gateway is on the way, and Lambo should be getting enough lings in time to deal with this. It's going to come down to the control of Eba to actually make this worth his while. Cybercore is done just in time with the second gateway. Adepts are being chronoed as we speak. And again, the goal here is for Eba to get across the map as quickly as possible with these 2 Adepts and snowball out of control. Ooh, Lings have arrived. The probe goes down. Lings, they do slip in. 2 workers, they get into the mineral line. They do force some delayed mining. Twilight Council has been spotted. Big scout there from Lambo. Does confirm the Twilight Council is aware of the potential the potential Glaive Adepts follow-up. Again, this should be Glaives. This could be something like DTs. Oh, the Twilight Council is almost done. And we have pulled out of gas. This screams Glaive Adepts, but we'll see. Actually, my apologies. We have pulled out even further from gas. It's still going to be Glaives. Only 3 mining. Oh, hello there. There's our third and fourth gateway. Adepts have made it across the map. How much do we have to defend? We have 3 queens and soon to be 10 lings. But Eba is going to be forced back for the time being. Meanwhile, Lambo, upon seeing the Twilight Council, really fast Roach Warren, that it was, what, a 3-minute 30 Roach Warren timing very early on, does pull back into gas as well. So he can produce those roaches. Ooh, Eba does take a third. Interesting. A very fast third here from Eba. He should still be pushing, but this is going to be a quote-unquote macro Glaive Adept opener. What I mean by this is something done by, God, who does this famously? I think Skillus does this. I want to say Strange. But I believe this is going to be hitting before the Prism. Glaives is done. We're warping an extra wave of Adepts. We should be moving out on foot. Meanwhile, Lambo is amassing roaches, just making sure he's safe and sound. He's not taking this lightly, as now Lambo has the room to drone. Now he's saturating. Adepts are moving out. As we mentioned, this is hitting before we have a Warp Prism. So there's no way to reinforce on the front lines. We have 2 Adepts towards the natural. We fully wall off. Good Sim City from Lambo. Adepts say, do not commit. Not yet, at least. How many Adepts do we have? 12. 12 Adepts. We do head towards the natural. Head towards the natural. So we're going to be busting in. Yeah, the Evo Chamber is going to be brought down. It's going to be a kill on the Evo Chamber. We're rushing past those roaches into the mineral line. Drones are being focused down. So far, only 4. No major damage. You just shade into the main. Getting an extra couple of workers. We get the Queen. We get 7 more drones behind this. Eba is transitioning into Blink and Immortal production. As we shade in once again. I get really good target firing out of Eba. Getting 15 drones. 15 drones go down, and we're still not done. We still have a couple more Adepts left here as they're being focused down. They shade in towards the third. 16 drones. A mineral line here for how much is the question. It was 16 drones, 10 Lings, 1 Roach, 1 Queen for 12 Adepts. A good trade. A good trade for Eba. And by the time Lambo can counterattack, I mean, the lair isn't even done. We don't have Roach speed. Eba has Immortals. He's safe. He's safe and sound back at home. He should be able to hold on to that third. And Eba, he's up to 60 workers. Lambo droning up as hard as he can. Resaturating. Up to 72. Behind this Eba, that's the second robo. It looks like, once again, Colossus. Colossus production from Eba. Could go into Disruptors as well, to be fair. We'll see what Eba does decide to go for. Now that the bay is done. He was just getting into his gases. Soon to be a 4th base. Unlike Oceanborn, again, as we mentioned, the 4th is much more defendable on this map. And there it is. Colossus production has begun. So the end goal here for Eba is the same as game number 1, except, of course, he's actually getting there. He's getting there in a much more stable position. He has dealt economic damage, and we can see that Lambo has recognized that. Instead of doubling down on Ling Ravager, because he knows that Eba is safe at home, because he knows that Eba is secure and he dealt a lot of damage, Lambo, he's taking up towards Hive, yes, at the same time, Hydras and Lurkers. This should be Hydra, Lurker, Viper. Lambo is looking to meet Eba in the late game. So Lambo is moving towards that Hydra, Lurker, Viper composition, taking the gold, double expanding, prioritizing gas income. And can Eba stop him? As Lambo does catch some of these Stalkers. Oof. Yeah, brutal pickoffs there. 6 Stalkers go down. Very good trade from Lambo. And a big overextension from Eba. His 4th is in production. Again, as we mentioned, this 4th base should be able to get up and running without too much issue. But Eba isn't making it easy on himself, bleeding out these Stalkers. He has to be very careful. Colossi are amassing. I'm loving the gateway wall here on the left-hand side. Does protect himself from any kind of run-by. Hive is done. Lurker Dead is on the way. Soon to be those Lunker upgrades. Do we have any Vipers yet? We do not. But Vipers should soon be on the horizon as well. And the problem here is that Lambo, he's getting ready for the ideal army. He's already maxed. He's already maxed out. And Hydra Lurker Viper is just the ideal anti-Protoss, anti-ground toss army. Anti-ground toss. And usually if this is scouted, this triggers a reaction from the Protoss to work towards Sky Toss, right? To work towards carrier production and Tempest and High Templar. But it's something that Eba hasn't seen. He hasn't scouted. He doesn't know what Lambo is up to. He's stuck defending on 4 bases. And Lambo is maxed. Now, Lambo, he has to refine his army. He has a lot of roaches. He has to throw them away. He needs to throw away these roaches. He needs to replace them with more Hydras and Lurkers. It is Lurker production underway. We have our first Viper, I believe. Yep, first Viper has arrived. Bleeding Roach does manage to slip in for a moment. But good defense so far here by Eba. At the same time, the Lurker count getting higher and higher as Lambo bleeds out roaches. More Lurkers are on the way. 6 more Lurkers, soon to be 12, soon to be 13 even. Wait, what? Sorry, 9. 9 Lurkers are done. Only 1 Viper. I'm a little bit concerned, not gonna lie. There it is, Uyoink, one of those Colossus. Good feedback on the Viper. With only 1 Viper, we cannot push in. Again, 1 Viper is not good enough, and Eba does hold. He does survive. He even gets to stop some of those Lurkers. He killed 3 Lurkers in the defense. A good trade. 3 Lurkers for 1 Colossus. Could have been worse. Meanwhile, oh, Lambo going for a Roach run by, but he's being cleaned up. He runs into Immortals. Good defense. Really nice defense so far here at the natural and the 4th base. Eba, he's holding on. He has seen the Lurkers. What is his reaction? Upon seeing the Lurker tech, we're working on upgrades. Charges on the way. High Templar are amassing. Do we have Storm? We do. We do have Storm. It's going to be a big upgrade. Again, the High Templar, they don't just have to Storm. They have the second job as well, and that is to feed back the Vipers. Meanwhile, we do see Lambert taking up towards a Spire. This should be for a Greater Spire and Broodlords. Or even just Corruptors when we do see Skytoss. And Eba, he's doubling down on Immortal production. He is not going into Skytoss. He's committing to a ground army. Bold move by Eba. Can it work out though? Will it pay off? Where are the Vipers? 0. 0 Vipers for Lambo, but he does outrange his opponent. Does bully back the Protoss army. This is risky here by Lambo. But he is forcing himself up the ramp. Island's going to be going down. Storms graze some of the roaches. Yeah, and the concave is real. Big storm here on the Lurkers. And Eba, he will collapse on this army. He will clean everything up. Storm once again does connect. And Lambo will be losing everything here. Again, without Vipers to support, Lambo's army melts. And behind this, he's remaxing with 27 roaches and 12 Hydras. Not the best army from Lambo. Now, Eba doesn't have enough to counterattack. He doesn't have much of a gateway army to support. He's poking onto creep, but he has to be very careful. Lambo is remaxed. Eba playing with fire right now. He does have to back off the surround. Big surround here on Eba. We come in from behind and we collapse on the Colossus. Eba, he did overextend. And the Immortals are going down. The Colossi as well. And it looks like Lambo, he has too much. He finds a very good fight. Exactly what he wanted. Exactly what he needed. And he will deny the gold. He resets the army. Eba, he's down to only a handful of Stalkers. He lost every Robo unit. We have Vipers on the way behind this as well. And again, if Eba hadn't moved out that far, if he had only poked and just, you know, flirted with the creep instead of committing, then Eba could have held on to the gold. Again, we would have seen a very different game, but one mistake is sometimes all it takes, especially with a high-tech army. Like, that was brutal. That was 3 Colossus, 8 Immortals. Again, just a little bit overconfident from Eba. And with that Lambo, he's snowballing out of control. He's rallying everything across the map. He's got a handful of lurkers here to just anchor his army. A couple of roaches get peeled off into the mineral line. Eba trying to push in, but into lurkers, it's never an easy thing to do. GG gets called. Lambo does it. He will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the round of 16. GG. GG, well played. A solid series there out of Lambo. He had a questionable push when he did move up the ramp into the concave with his lurkers. That was a scary moment for Lambo, is what I will say. But thankfully, Eba did overextend right after that. He got a little bit too excited, got a little bit too cavalier, and he got surrounded. He lost his entire army, an army that he was building up over time. Updating our lovely admins here, messaging Eba. But yeah, he knows himself as well. He didn't need to move out. Like, after he called all those lurkers, he didn't need to move out, and that was the beginning of the end. Otherwise, Eba would have been in a good position. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Lambo as he does advance on. And my condolences to Eba as he will be eliminated from the tournament. And where are we headed from here? Oh, we already have our next opponent. Up next, Lambo versus Geralt in another ZvP. I will just slip into some DMs and make sure that we don't get left behind. Make sure we don't get left behind here. But GG, well played. Congratulations. I guess we can quickly take a moment here to go over the bracket and figure out where exactly we are.